Hey guys, what's happening? Coach Chris, Team Critical Bench. Today what I'm going to show you could really make a difference in your lifting and just in how you feel every day. It's all about relaxing your hips because most of us are just sitting all the time. We're sitting at work, we're sitting in the car, we're sitting at home, and we're constantly in a state of that flexed state, and it's putting our hips in a not so good position, a stressed position. So I'm going to show you how to relax your hips. It's one of the easiest things you can do, but it's extremely effective. So you're going to go down onto the mat, anywhere, right? Home, work, you could do this. You want something like a foam pad or a foam roller, something that's, anywhere from 4 to 6 inches wide in diameter, right? You can place it between the knees, okay, so I could just put it just like this. Notice my body right now is in a very relaxed position. I'm not trying to strain or work anything. This is about relaxation, which we don't do enough of. Our body is constantly seated, it's under stress. We don't even realize we're stressing our body out, but we are. So the idea here is just to breathe easy. Big breaths in and out, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Breathe through the belly. You should really be able to focus on each breath. You're lightly holding that pad or that object, whatever you've put between the knees. You're lightly holding it there because it's just helping keep your knees at the width they should stay in. Notice my feet are somewhere around 16 to 18 inches apart. And you're just going to hold this position for as many minutes as you'd like. It could be 3 minutes, it could be 5 minutes. This could be considered like a form of meditation. You're allowing your hip flexor muscles to lengthen and relax and take some of the stress out of them. Because there's a constant, and you will feel a difference just laying like this for a matter of minutes. And this really could lead to improved performance and just better energy and a better state of mind, better mood, just from doing something as simple as this. Now, a great thing to do as well, besides relaxing your hips, is to actually stretch your hips a little bit, right? And there are many stretches out there that are considered productive and ones that really people think that they're doing something good for themselves, and unfortunately they're not. This one in particular is one that's done routinely, but it's done incorrectly. It's just like one of the #1 mistakes made with a seemingly good stretch. So what you're going to do is you're going to pop up into a 90-90, just like this. So your front leg is at 90 degrees, your back leg's at 90 degrees, your foot's relaxed. Noticing I got the top of my foot down on the ground. I'm relaxed. And then people will be in this position and they'll just kind of hold this position. They won't really do much. They'll be very passive with it. So there are a couple things to keep in mind to make this stretch actually really good for you. What you want to do is you want to think about driving your hips forward, okay, as you squeeze the glute. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm flexing my glute to be able to drive my pelvis forward, which is going to help lengthen my thigh muscle, my quad. And in addition to doing that, I'm also going to raise my arm up over my head, which again gives me some lengthening and helps me to stretch a little bit deeper. And then to make it even a little bit better is I can start to do just a little bit of a lean to my left. So if I'm stretching my right side, I'm leaning left slightly. And I'm holding this position. I'm actively firing my glute muscle. I'm pushing my hip forward. And I'm opening up all those muscles that are constantly under stress all day long. All day long we're like this. We're in a fetal stressed position. So we're trying to open that up with this very powerful, very productive stretch, driving the hip forward, and we're leaning a little bit. We're going to hold that for at least 20 seconds. You can hold it for 30 seconds. You can hold it for longer. And then, of course, you'll follow up and do that on the other side. I promise you, if you just do that first one where you relax and then you do this second one, this stretch, you will notice some improvement in just how you feel throughout the day. So let's move on to some other terrific things that you can be doing for hip mobility. Okay, so this next exercise for all you lifters out there, this is an amazing warm-up for power lifters or any lifters. This is really gonna wake your hips up. It's called a three-way leg swing. So you're gonna start, make sure you got something that you can hold on to that's sturdy, because you really wanna be able to focus on these, these hips opening up a little bit, and you wanna hold on to something that's not gonna shift or move. You wanna be able to stand tall. And you'll notice also I'm standing on a raised surface. This way, the leg that you're swinging is free from touching the ground. You don't want to tilt or shift your hips in order to do this. You want to try and keep your hips level so that you can do the swings properly. So we're going to do a front to back swing. Front to back swing. This can be progressive in nature, so you can start kind of easy and just kind of build a little bit of momentum with it. It's supposed to be very fluid. You can do up to about 10 reps on each side. Just feels good. And of course you'll do it for both sides. Now I'm going to show you, you did the front to back, now we're going to go side to side. So we're going to turn, we're going to face what we're holding on to, and now the foot is going to sweep across and out. This is waking up the hips on both sides, okay? Because I'm rotating on my standing leg, and of course I'm rotating the hip joint with the swinging leg. But see, I'm not really trying to shift my body very much. I'm still trying to face forward the whole time. Then what you're going to do is a diagonal swing. So I'm going to stand slightly angled on my raised surface, and instead of just coming, obviously I'm trying to keep my hips forward, but my swing's going to kind of come cross body and out to the side. Might feel a little bit awkward or unnatural at first, but we're trying to put the hips through as many ranges of motion as possible to really thoroughly wake them up. And oddly enough, you will almost feel the hip of the standing leg more than the hip of the swinging leg, because it's the stabilizing leg and you are still moving that hip joint, waking it up. Awesome three-way leg swing to do before lifting. Now we're going to go on to some other amazing hip mobility drills that you can start doing.
All right guys, you just saw Coach Chris go over some leg swings that'll help you for powerlifting before you start your moves. But now what I'm about to show you is some speed drill training to really focus on hip mobility and flexibility. Do this right before you get into your training to really make sure your hips are warmed up and loose. So we're going to go into a world's greatest stretch position here, long stride. Now if you can see, my back leg is fully extended. Now I'm not doing anything funky with that leg. It's right in line with the rest of my body. So now I'm going to take my inside arm, so that's my left hand here, and I'm going to rotate up and rotate back down. You can do a total of 5 reps in a row, and then you'll jump to the other side. So 5 quick reps on this one. Still maintaining a straight, extended back leg. After this, we're going to stay in this position, but we're going to go into a slow mountain climber. So all I'm going to do is stay in this position and put switch. So after you just did your world's greatest stretch and your mountain climbers, you're going to come up and we're going to do a reverse lunge with an overhead reach. Now the main thing on this move here is that overhead reach. That really opens up that psoas in your hip flexors. So you just do a reverse lunge, overhead reach. Now notice I'm tilting to the side. Whatever leg is in front, I'm twisting to that side. Get a good, long, deep stretch into that extending side. Do the same thing on the other side. Again, lunging down, reaching up and across. All right, so we just stretched out the front of our hips. Now we're going to stretch out the inner and outer of our hips as well. So we're going to go to a lateral lunge, sitting deep down into that stretch. Notice both of my feet are pointed forward in a nice parallel stance, sinking deeper into that stretch as you go. So guys, those are some quick mobility drills to prepare you for some speed training. What I'm going to go into now is some mobility drills for just general athletic performance. All right, so now we're going to move on to a little bit more about athletic development for the hip flexors and mobility and flexibility to prepare all athletic movement. So as you can see Chris here, he's going to be in a supine position, knees bent. He's going to be raising his hips up and pulling that knee in as hard as he can. Now, two things you want to focus on this one is a hip drive and a knee drive. So hips come up, pull that knee in as hard as you can. Hold it for about 2 to 3 seconds on each hold. Now from there, he's going to go right into a cross leg bridge, crossing that knee, raising the hips up again, about 2 to 3 seconds on each hold. This one wants to emphasize on the knee drive, but also pushing that knee out away from the body. Last on this quick series is a 45-degree hip bridge. So the leg is at a 45-degree angle. He's going to be raising his hips up. So now Chris, he's going to flip on over and get into an all-fours position. Now you want to notice that his hands are directly under his shoulders, knees directly under the hips, and he's going to flex his toes under the heels. So from this position, we're going to go into a bird dog stance. He's going to extend one arm out, extend the opposite leg out. Fully extend this leg straight back, get in a good pointed position. Then he's going to bring the elbow to the knee under the body. Good tap, fully extend back out. He's going to repeat that 5 times each side. So as you just saw, Chris just did a couple things, but now we're going to go into something a little more in depth that's going to require, you need to pay attention just a little more. So now Chris is going to get into a high plank position or a push-up position. He wants to make sure that his shoulders are properly loaded, so his weight is shifted forward. As you can see, directly under the shoulder blades are his hands. He's going to bring one knee under the body and forward, trying to touch the elbow of the opposite arm. He's going to do the same thing on the other side. And notice how he doesn't shift too much, which is perfect. After he does his set number on that, he's going to go into a 90-90, a half kneel. Now from this one, guys, you really want to make sure that you have a posterior pelvic tilt. We talked about that in previous videos, but if you're not familiar with it, posterior pelvic tilt is when he takes his hips, tilts them back, so he's sinking his butt underneath his hips. So he's flexing his glutes, contracting that muscle nice and hard. And now what he's going to do, he's going to rock forward as far as he can, still maintaining a posterior hip tilt. He's going to rock forward as far as he can, and then rock back to a neutral position. Readjust if he needs to, contract that glute, rock forward again. Notice he's maintaining a tall spine. He'll do the same thing on the other side. Tucking the tailbone underneath him, perfect. Rock forward. And notice how much hip stretching he's doing as further he goes forward. So the last thing he's going to be doing is an extended leg heel sit. So this is going to stretch out the inner thigh here, a little bit of the outer thigh. So as you can see, he's getting in position here, one knee directly under the hip. Other leg is fully extended out with the toes pointed towards the ceiling. Still maintaining a posterior pelvic tilt, hips tucked underneath him. Now he's going to rock back, trying to sit down on that heel as deep as he can go, and then rock forward. Rocking forward all the way as far as you can, rocking back. After Chris just did his other side, now he's going to go into the last final step of this drill. It's an extended leg hip drop. So as you can see, he's in an exaggerated lunge stance. He's going to be dropping that right hip down to the floor as far as he can go, maintaining a back extended leg. Again, dropping those hips as low as he can go comfortably.
So now you've seen a lot of terrific things that you can do for terrific hip mobility. Here is one that you want to do before you squat. Okay, it's a 90-90 position. I have a foam roller here, or you could just be next to something like a wall, something just to hold on to for stability, because this is a really cool stretch. And you don't, unless you've done it a lot, you don't feel very stable doing it. So I'm in this great 90-90 position. What I want to do is I really want to open up not only the hip flexor, but the quad, right? So I'm going to reach back and grab my ankle near my heel, and I'm going to hold myself upright. I'm going to be pretty erect. I'm just going to hold this foam roller. I'm just lightly trying to use it. Make sure that you feel grounded on that forward foot. What I'm doing right here, holding this position, is I'm thinking about being long. I'm thinking about driving my hip forward. I'm thinking about activating my glute in that left side. Just trying to really hold this strong position as I pull my heel towards my butt, right? You can hold this for 20 seconds, 30 seconds. You can hold it for longer. This does a terrific job at lengthening those muscles in the front of the leg and through the hips, and will help you achieve terrific range of motion on your squat. Okay, awesome, awesome exercise. Now, right after you do that, there's another great exercise that you can do to help with explosiveness and power. So more hip mobility magic here, right? So we're gonna go ahead and move the mat. I don't need the mat. I have a weight here. Now you can do this, you can start doing this without a weight. I like to have the weight. It's good for counterbalance. I feel like I can hold the position for longer. This is going to help give you that power down in the hole. So notice I can drop really deep. I've been actually working on these a lot myself. So I'm dropping down super deep. I'm trying to keep a really tall spine. Notice how I'm really upright. I'm not leaning forward. My elbows are lightly pressed into the inside of my legs, and I'm just holding this weight here. And it just acts as a counterbalance, okay? Because a lot of my weight right now, obviously, is back. I'm really on my heels quite a bit, and I'm just lightly pushing out with my elbows to really open up my hips. Notice that good position, and you can hold this for 30 seconds, 45 seconds. You can hold this for up to a couple minutes. Terrific exercise, and you can lower down the weight and come up out of that position. That's going to really give you some more of that explosive power, and let your hips know that it's okay to be down deep in that position. You're waking these joints up, these muscles up. You're letting them know it's okay to be powerful from down deep in that position. Okay, now to finish off all the amazing things that you can be doing to wake those hips up, give you increased mobility and flexibility, here's a yoga stretch worth doing. Now, we've seen this 90-90 position here, or pretzel position, right? So what we're going to do is we're actually going to place our hands, one on the side of the foot, one on the side of the knee, and then we're going to bring that back leg behind us, make it nice and long. See that? And then, I mean, right now I feel an increased amount of tension, obviously through that right side hip. And all you want to do is just hold this position and breathe through it. Absolutely terrific exercise. Really doesn't require, you let gravity work for you on this exercise. Just breathe your way through it. Try and relax yourself. You can push into it a little bit as you work into this, get a little bit more used to it. You can kind of come over with a long spine, come over that knee. Hold that position, 20, 30, 45 seconds, up to a minute. And then of course, you'll switch and do it on the other side. So that gives you an amazing amount of exercises and drills and things that you can be doing right now to help increase mobility in those hips and just make you more powerful in the gym with all of your exercises. So if you like all that information, you're gonna love this. We have a free guide to Olympic lifting. Check it out, amazing. It gives you all that great explosive power back to your body that translates to increased performance, fat loss, muscle gains, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching. Coach Chris, Team Critical Bench. Leave some comments below and we'll see you soon.